Thousands of fans are going to be flying into Guadalajara, Mexico for the World Cup, me included, but where you stay could honestly make or break your trip. I've been to Guadalajara before, and this time I'm going back in June for the Mexico versus South Korea game. So in this video, I want to talk about where I stayed last time, where I would stay again, and where I personally would not stay at during the World Cup. So last time we visited Guadalajara, we actually stayed in Tequila, which was an amazing time. And if you Google it, you're gonna find all kinds of fun stuff. It really sounds great on paper or in theory. It was amazing for all the good vibes, but honestly, for the World Cup, I think there are some things people need to consider before booking to stay there. Now, Tequila is not a bad spot at all. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was such a great time. There's distilleries, walking tours, things to do. You can get like a real authentic experience out there. But the biggest issue for me is the traffic. The traffic is something unheard of when you're out there and then heading back into the city. From Tequila to the stadium, it's roughly around 55 minutes. And that's on a normal day. So if you can imagine the World Cup traffic, the roadway systems, I just have to discourage anyone who might run late typically from staying out there. As good as a time as you can have leading up to the World Cup. When we went last August, it was raining that night and into the day, and the drive from Tequila to the airport was honestly horrible. It was a horrible drive. I really thought like we could miss our flight because of how bad the roads were. There was flooding on the roads, and the flooding got so bad that a lot of cars had to take like a different passageway and go up on a bridge, and then that was flooded and just like congested with cars. What really should have been a simple drive really turned into like a bigger ordeal. And so for that, I really think someone should really think about like, do they want to deal with that traffic going into the World Cup? I would just imagine that if something like that were to happen during the World Cup, it would cause a lot of chaos. So I think the best thing you could do for yourself is to set yourself up for success and not stay somewhere where it might be super far from the stadium. So personally, my biggest piece of advice for fans coming into Guadalajara to go to the World Cup match is to stay as close as possible to the stadium. Now, there are rumors about a potential World Cup shuttle at certain cities going to certain stadiums. All rumors, and at this point, I don't think I have a lot of hope or faith in FIFA since the whole ticket fiasco. Nothing has been confirmed when it comes to the shuttles. So I would just say, do what you can, control what you can on your part, and that is maybe not deal with the traffic. Now, I do have hotel recommendations when it comes to where to stay. With all that said, if you are still thinking, let me stay in Tequila because I've heard great things about it, it's a good time, which all of the above is so true. There's a lot to do there. It's authentic. You're gonna have a great experience. There are two hotels I recommend staying at. Solar de las Animas, and I stayed there last year in August, and I honestly loved it. It was super relaxed. It had a very old Mexico feel. The architecture was beautiful. It did not have like big chain hotel type of feeling to it, like when you stay at certain hotels that are like big named. This was a very cute feeling spot. You can visit distilleries, you can walk around the town, shop with the street vendors, and you definitely need to check out El Güero, which is just this notorious spot for huge cantaritos. They're literally like the size of Xena when she was a puppy. They're like huge. I really enjoyed staying at this hotel because I just felt like every view was beautiful. I felt very safe. I know that's not what this video is about, but I do think it's important when you're thinking about like where you want to stay at. Safety should be something on top of mind. And so here I really felt, really safe, really good. I just thought it was such a good experience. So I wanted to call that out in case you were looking at, for sure, staying in Tequila, dealing with the traffic to get to the stadium. But really down for the vibes in Tequila, I think you have to stay at this hotel. The second hotel is Hotel de Barricas, and it is like these barrels that you can stay in. I did not stay here, so that's why it's on like the second option of where to stay. It is a little more on the outskirts of Tequila, so you won't be able to walk out and see street vendors and walk around to different shops like you would at the first hotel. This one is a little more like secluded, but it has a cool underground restaurant that you can eat at if you want to check it out. I think people who come here really go for the experience of sleeping inside of these barrels. It definitely is more of like a tourist type hotel experience, but it is something that's unique and memorable, so I had to put it on this list. My personal decision though, and my current plan is, after seeing all of the traffic last year, my family and I know that this World Cup trip is going to be hectic. We know there's going to be a lot of traffic. People are very, very, very excited for this World Cup. So for that, we are deciding not to stay inside Tequila and to truly stay inside the city of Guadalajara, to stay as close as possible to the stadium. We've opted into staying at an Airbnb versus a hotel. The Airbnb gives us around like 25-minute drive to the stadium, and it is the perfect space for me and my family. I think Airbnbs can be really great when you're traveling with others. I think hotels have like their time and place, but I think for a trip like this and for my family going along, we, opted in for the Airbnb lifestyle for this trip. It truly was a deciding factor of like, how can we get as close as possible to the stadium and while still like maintaining a good price point. And Airbnb that we found really hit that, and it's only, like I said, 25-minute drive from the stadium. So I am really happy with this decision. I will definitely miss staying inside of Tequila, but there are so many day trip excursions that you can book. So I can see us doing a day trip to Tequila maybe after the World Cup when we stay a couple extra days. I do think the Airbnb being, like I said, 25 minutes from the stadium, not having to deal with all the traffic, I think that is already alleviating some stress for me. So that's why I would say if you're able to stay as close as possible to the stadium, I truly think that is the best plan. So my overall advice for traveling into Guadalajara for the World Cup is, if you want convenience and less stress, stay as close as possible to the stadium. If you want a more relaxing Mexico experience, Tequila is absolutely worth visiting. I think like you can relax there, you can walk around and visit the different vendors, you can get street food. It very much is its own little area, but personally I would save it for after the match and leading up to the match, staying as close as possible to that stadium because the traffic was horrendous. Either way, I'm excited to head back to Guadalajara and watch the match of Mexico versus South Korea. If you guys have any questions about Guadalajara, like the travel, hotels, transportation, or the World Cup experience, drop them down in the comments and I'll try to help out as much as I can. And if you're traveling to the World Cup, you should like and subscribe in this video because I'll be dropping more content leading up to the World Cup. I am beyond excited for this trip. We have just awaited this trip, so I will be posting so much more about it. So there you have it, where to stay in Guadalajara when you're going in for the World Cup match. My family and I are just so excited, so I can't wait to watch Mexico do good things. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.